Guys, thought it would be fun to kind of use this as an opportunity to talk about programming the upcoming week, as well as any announcements we may have or anything like that, just so we're kind of all starting the week on the same foot when it comes to what we're doing at UpReach and what to expect for the week. So announcements-wise, no real announcements for this week. We do have Dan, the PT man, moving his low back pain seminar to the 5th over here. So after Community WOD, he got food poisoning, so he had to move it. I know he's communicated with those of you who were signed up. If you weren't able to sign up, like you weren't going to be here the weekend he was going to do it originally, now you want to do it, just make sure you let us know or let Dan know so we can get you into that. Otherwise, straightforward week here. We'll go over the programming. Again, we are into a new cycle. Started it last week, and on this cycle, Monday here is our strength day. So on the first part of the cycle, the first month here, we're doing back squat strength. Straight linear progression. Last week we had 5 sets of 5. This week we have 5 sets of 4. Increasing percentages here, 70, 75, and then kind of finishing off with 3 sets of 4 at 80%. Again, that last set will be an AMRAP set, capping yourself out at 8. If you get to 8 reps, you're good. The reason for this, guys, is we want to keep the stimulus strength. We start stretching out with too many reps at a certain percentage. We're no longer really working strength. We're working more kind of like strength endurance. And we want to keep you in a recoverable volume. So we have a law of diminishing returns when we start doing way too many reps with a certain percentage, and we want to avoid that with all of the stuff we have the rest of the week. So that's why we kind of cap that out there. So some fun back squatting there. Well, about 20 minutes for that, just like we did last week. And then after that, we have kind of this open redux. I took inspiration from the open this year and kind of smashed together a couple of workouts. 10-minute ladder, 2 wall walks, and that's always going to stay the same. We're not going to increase those reps, but the other 2 movements we are going to increase. So we're going to go 2 wall walks, 2 dumbbell hang snatch. You don't have to switch arms. You can if you want to. And then 2 burpees over the dumbbell. 2 wall walks. Now we have 4 and 4. 2 wall walks, 6 and 6, so on and so forth. Standard weight on the dumbbell snatch there. And again, when it comes to the dumbbell snatch, you do not have to alternate every single rep. You can stay on one arm as long as you'd like. I highly suggest just cutting it evenly if you don't want a Popeye arm, but you do you guys. Scales here, just standard, wall walks. We can do a walkout to a push-up. We can do our box walks. We can do a half wall walk as long as those arms and shoulders are moving a little bit. Just moving your feet up onto the wall isn't going to do much for you. Dumbbell hang snatch, as always, we can scale the weights. If we have like a shoulder issue, we could go to dumbbell hang cleans, but yeah. Half Murph here. If you're getting ahead of me, I need to change the reps for half Murph. I don't... Anyways, nonetheless, every week and a half or so, we're going to be prepping for Murph. We have Murph coming up on Memorial Day, so that's coming up in the next, I don't know, we're sitting here in the beginning of April, 8 weeks or so, 8 to 10 weeks. So we'll have about 5 training sessions or so to get in. Thought it'd be good to just start off with half Murph, kind of test where we're at. So as always, wear a vest if you're planning on wearing it for Murph on the actual day. You want to practice like you play, guys. Then we have 800-meter run into 5 rounds, 10 pull-ups. This should be 20 push-ups and then 30 air squats. I'll go in and change that for half Murph. That's my mistake as I was reading it. And then we finish with an 800-meter run. Again, half Murph's going to take a while, 30, 40, 45 minutes, right, depending on your scales and your mods there. Our pull-up mods, what we'd ideally have you do here is banded strict pull-up, no banded kipping. No banded kipping. Banded strict. If you're going to do that 5 reps, and that's purely just to keep us moving. We could do our jumping pull-ups. We could do our ring rows, right? Push-ups, as always, you guys know us at UpReach. We would rather you modify by doing push-ups to a box or a bench or an elevated surface before we go to knees. But as I always say, if shit absolutely hits the fan and we got to go to our knees, okay. And then run. If we can't run, we got knee, ankle issues, whatever. As always, we can do a 1,000-meter row. We could do a 2K C2 bike. We could even do an assault bike if we need to, or a skier or something like that. So standard straight up Murph prep. I know if you guys have been doing CrossFit for a while, you know what this looks like. And so we'll be getting that on Tuesday. Wednesday, my favorite day of the week because it's the Olympic weightlifting stuff. Heard a lot of great feedback from last week. People are loving this day, being able to work on the technique. And so the clean primer here, this is very similar to last week with snatch. We're just changing it over to clean, and we're going to be kind of bouncing back and forth, so you're getting touches on both. We'll throw some jerk work in as well near the end of this cycle. But again, this primer here is an opportunity for you guys to slow down. I use this analogy in my classes. Olympic weightlifting is a sport, and the only way you get better at sport is by slowing down. Let's say you want to get better at golf. You don't get better at golf by playing 18 holes of golf. Like, you'll get slightly better if you just played a lot. But how you actually get better is going to the driving range and working with a pro on your technique of your swing. This is that time right here, this 10-minute clean primer. You're slowing down, you're moving with a PVC pipe, you're moving with an unloaded barbell. Us as coaches get the opportunity to see you move, make corrections as needed, so you can also build better movement pattern, better neural connections on what should actually be happening. The number one limiter of your Olympic weightlifting, you watching this, is your technique. It's not your strength. You just don't have the technique to show how strong you are on this movement. After that, this week we're going to throw in a plyo primer. Again, core work and then also plyometrics. We want to get springy. A lot of us need work on this idea of being springy, being athletic for Olympic weightlifting. So we're going to do a little plyo primer after kind of the clean primer. Then we'll hit our hang power clean. So hopefully with priming the actual technique, priming your verticality, your jumpiness, hopefully that hang power clean 3RM is going to feel decent today. Thursday, again, this is kind of our flow day, flow plus gymnastics sometimes. It'll kind of probably alternate. Today's just a straight up cardio day, kind of call it zone training. You're going to be going through some different zones. Now, it is partner. However, if you want to hit this by yourself, you're more than welcome to, but ideally it's meant to be partners so we can share bikes, share equipment, keep your heart rate elevated for longer, all that kind of stuff. Just straight up descending rep scheme here, 50-40 cal bike, 100 double under. So you're always doubling the doubling the calories on the bike with the double under reps. 40-30 cal bike, 80, 30-20, 60, 20-10, 40. It's very straightforward. You get done with this set of double unders, you're right back to the top. Expect a high heart rate, especially if you're partnering up and you're getting after it on that bike. Expect a really good sweat. This is going to be really, really good. As always, scales, double unders. You can double your singles, but I always say if you have the opportunity to work on your double unders and you have some semblance of some, better to do that and just cut the reps in half for yourself. That's how you're going to get better at double unders. And then if you're in a mixed gender pairing, the rep scheme here, you could just go with the higher rep scheme if you want, or you can meet in the middle, right? So 45, 35, 25, 15, okay? If you have a mixed gender pair. So that's what we got for Thursday. And then Friday, kind of our classic CrossFit day, just a straight up CrossFit workout. I called it Post Malone because it's very posterior. Okay, anyways, hate myself. We have 4 rounds for time, 8 strict handstand push-ups. Last week we had kipping handstand push-ups. This week we're working on strict. 12 deadlifts, standard 225, 155, probably a weight that you could either do unbroken, maybe 2 sets as you get fatigued here. And then a 16 cal row, and that 16 cal row is the same for men and women. Just trying to make it a little bit of a challenge there. This is meant to be, again, fast-ish. You know, I think most people will probably finish this maybe 10 to 15 minute time range. So this should be a fast workout. As coaches, we've been instructed to make sure that we have time left over for mobilization. So, you know, if we get done early, we're going to have a lot of good time to mobilize. That back probably, maybe some shoulders. Our handstand push-up mods. On a day that we're doing strict handstand push-ups, we want you to really work your strength on your handstand push-ups. So we're talking seated dumbbell press. One that maybe a lot of us haven't done is negatives, right? So you kick up in your handstand and you control that eccentric as slow as you can. You kick off the wall. With it only being 8, we probably do 4 handstand push-up negatives. That way, again, we can kind of keep you moving. You're working the strength. And if we absolutely have to, we can go to that inverted box push-up position, but we'd probably rather stay with something that's working strength. You can also use up to 2 ab mats for this. So if you have strict to 2 ab mats, you're good. Deadlift, obviously, we can modify that weight down to something that's going to be tough for 12. You can maybe do unbroken, and maybe as you get fatigued, break it up into 2 sets. And then row, for whatever reason, if rowing hurts you or whatever, we could bike or ski or I mean, we could run. We have running on Murph, but if you want to run, we could run, I guess. So, yeah, that's what we got for the week. A really, really fun week here, I think. I'm excited to do most of these workouts this week. Excited for Murph prep. Needs to start happening. So, again, if you plan on doing Murph, I really implore you to come to Murph prep. We've done this the past couple of years where we have a very thought out Murph training, and PRs happen. People don't get hurt. The whole likelihood of anything crazy happening is greatly reduced. So if you know you're somebody that's going to come on Memorial Day, prep for it, train for it. You're just going to do better at it. You're going to be able to go faster and push yourself, and that's what it's about. So anyways, hope this gives you a little bit of insight of what we're hitting this week. Again, otherwise, all we have is Dan's low back pain seminar on the 5th for Community WOD. Be on the lookout for Community WOD to pop up, as always, near the end of the week as the coaches coaching that kind of puts that up. And that's what we got for class programming. All right, guys. See you this week in the gym.